Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing great today. So there's a brand new update in Tekken 8, and this one's honestly one of those that feels small at first glance, but once you actually look into what's changed, it's a big deal for the way the game feels overall. Yeah, we're talking about Update 2.06. Now, I know some people were expecting huge balance changes or maybe a massive shakeup to the tier list, but Bandai Namco's taken a slightly different route this time. This patch is about polishing, correcting, and bringing things closer to what Tekken is supposed to feel like. Smooth, responsive, and fair. But there's also something else that everyone's hyped for. Armor King is finally here. Now, before we get into the gameplay and changes, let's talk about timing, because a lot of people get confused about when these things actually drop, depending on where you live. So, for those of you in India, this update officially rolled out on October 14th, around 3:30 in the morning, and during that window, the servers were under maintenance for about 6 hours. So if you tried to play ranked or casuals around that time and couldn't connect, don't worry, it wasn't your internet. They were just getting things ready for the new build and all the fresh content. And of course, the biggest highlight is the return of the beast himself, Armor King. Fans have been asking for him since launch, and now he's finally making his debut in Tekken 8. This is a paid DLC character, but if you've got the Deluxe or Ultimate Edition, or you picked up the Character Pass, you actually get him a few days early. So early access kicked off on October 14th for those players, while everyone else can grab him individually from October 17th. It's nice that they're staggering it a little, giving early supporters that small window of exclusivity. But the cool thing is, Armor King looks incredible. Visually, he's one of the most detailed models they've done in Tekken 8. His armor textures, the reflections, and his stance animations all have that perfect mix of menace and style that fans remember from older games. What's especially cool about Armor King's arrival is how he fits right into the current meta. His moveset has always been about control and spacing, punishing mistakes, and of course, those brutal throws. And now, with the aggressive system in Tekken 8, he feels even more dynamic. His aggression drive transitions smoothly out of combos, and those classic counter throw moments are still there. Plus, early footage from players who've tried him out shows that he has a few new tricks. His shoulder attacks and chain throw variations seem faster and more fluid now. So if you're planning to main him, it's definitely a good time to start learning the new timing. But Armor King wasn't the only focus of this update. Bandai Namco also rolled out what they're calling move behavior fixes. Now, that might sound minor, but it's actually one of the most important things for how the game feels moment to moment. They've gone through a big chunk of the roster and adjusted hitboxes, hurtboxes, and the way certain attacks connect. If you've been playing online and noticed some of those weird interactions where a move clearly looked like it should hit, but it whiffed completely, or when you got clipped even though your character's animation looked safe, those are the kind of issues they've targeted here. Until this update improves a bunch of those frustrating little inconsistencies. So things like combo drops that shouldn't happen, odd wall splat behavior, or juggles that feel unreliable, they're all being cleaned up. It's not about changing balance numbers or frame data. It's about making sure that when you land a hit, it connects exactly how it's supposed to. And honestly, that's something players have been asking for since launch. Because Tekken 8 has incredible mechanics and animations, but even tiny visual misalignments can mess with your sense of fairness during a match. The polish also extends to things like sound effects and visual effects. The patch notes mention that certain moves have had their SFFX or VFX updated for clarity. So, for example, when you land a counter hit or when you trigger a wall break, those feedback cues are sharper now. It might seem like a small detail, but if you've ever played a long session, those sensory cues are what keep your reaction timing consistent. And speaking of consistency, one of the coolest, most nostalgic tweaks they've made is restoring some legacy inputs for King and Lee. Remember how in earlier versions of Tekken, certain moves had input variations that changed in Tekken 8? Well, now some of those older commands are back, meaning your muscle memory from the previous games might actually work again. That's a huge quality of life improvement, especially for veteran players who've been with the series for years. The devs confirmed that they made sure there aren't any input conflicts, so you can use either version depending on your preference. It's small, but it's such a thoughtful move, like a nod to the longtime Tekken community. Now, something you need to know about this update. All the old online replays are gone. Yep, every single one of them. Anything recorded before the patch won't play anymore, even if you had it saved under My Replays. It's because the system architecture changed with the new hitbox and move behavior updates, so old data just isn't compatible anymore. It's a little annoying if you were holding on to some memorable sets, but on the bright side, ghost data is still intact. Your ghost character still works, but its behavior now reflects the new version of the game, meaning if you recorded a ghost fight before, it'll adapt to the new mechanics going forward. The Tekken Shop also got some love in this update, and I've got to say it's a good mix of fun and flair. They've added Fight Pass Round 7, which comes with a bunch of new rewards to grind through. There's also a set of cosmetic packs called Nightmare and Whimsical Jester. The Nightmare pack has this dark, edgy theme, really fits characters like Kazuya or Devil Jin. The Jester pack, on the other hand, is more playful, colorful, and kind of over the top. Plus, Armor King himself gets a special avatar skin that's available at a discount for a limited time, which is a nice bonus for anyone who loves collecting cosmetics. There's also a new special deal promo in the shop, though details are still being updated in-game as we speak. What's cool is that even though this patch doesn't directly buff or nerf specific characters across the board, it still affects competitive play in subtle but important ways. Think about it. If hitbox adjustments make a move connect more reliably, that can completely change how consistent certain combos are. Players who rely on tight juggles or corner pressure will feel the difference right away. So even without major frame changes, this patch could still shift the meta slightly, just because of improved precision. If you're someone who takes Tekken seriously, whether in ranked or tournaments, now's a good time to hit the lab again. Start with your main characters and see how their bread and butter combos feel after the update. Recheck your wall combos, because wall splat physics might feel subtly different now. And for characters like Asuka, Jin, or King, who rely on parries and throws, these micro adjustments could change how certain setups flow. And honestly, it's nice to see that Bandai Namco is still paying attention to these kinds of technical fixes. They've already done big balance passes earlier this year, but these small patches are what really keep the game healthy long term. And no one likes to lose a ranked match because of some random collision glitch or invisible hurtbox. Fixing those things shows that they're serious about keeping the game tournament ready and smooth for everyone. But beyond all the technical stuff, what's really exciting here is just how much the game continues to grow. Each update adds a little more life to Tekken 8. First we had Eddie joining the roster, then Lydia, and now Armor King. And with the way the DLC roadmap looks, it's clear we're going to see more fan favorites make their return. Armor King feels like a smart addition because he appeals both to nostalgic fans and to players who love grappler-style gameplay. He's got personality, he's got power, and his moveset is going to create some really fun matchups online. If you're planning to learn him, expect a learning curve. He's not the easiest character to master, especially with his chain throws and stance transitions, but once you get comfortable, he's one of the most rewarding characters in the game to play. Watching people crumble under that pressure when you land a perfect throw setup or a clean counter, it's just pure Tekken satisfaction. One thing you might want to keep in mind too is that Armor King's frame data feels slightly adjusted compared to Tekken 7. Early testers are saying his mids feel a bit faster, and his aggression drive complements his throw-heavy gameplay nicely. He can create more mix-up pressure after wall splats, and his forward momentum moves seem to have better recovery. I'm sure we'll see breakdowns from pro players in the next few days showing all the new combos and frame traps. So overall, this update isn't the kind that throws the whole game into chaos, but it's one of those patches that makes Tekken 8 feel better. It's smoother, cleaner, more consistent, and it gives us one of the most beloved characters back in the roster. Plus, those cosmetic updates and replay changes show that Bandai Namco is keeping the ecosystem alive, making sure both casual and competitive players have something to look forward to. If you haven't updated your game yet, do it before your next session, because online features won't work until you're on the latest version. And when you hop back in, take a few minutes to explore the shop and lab your main again. You might be surprised at how different some of those combos feel now.